TLDW, today's video, the Earthshadow Berserker was kind of struggling, so we swapped over to Hollow Palm Berserker. Gems are like pretty low level here for the most part. We're using Mjolnirs to level up gems. We're just stacking as much dexterity as possible due to Hollow Palm technique. Uh, as long as you don't have a main hand, offhand, or gloves equipped, you count as unencumbered. You'll be dual wielding, you'll have 60% more attack speed, and on top of that, every 10 dexterity will give you 14 to 20%, or not percent, but 14 to 20 flat added physical attack damage. Obviously, that's why we stack a bunch of it. POV will be in the description. This costs quite a bit. I think it was in the range of about 4 to 5x. You can go like way higher than that. Some of the pieces were far more expensive than others. But yeah, I'm just going to do a map here. Like I said, a lot of the gems are like really low level. Damage can go quite a bit higher. Still streaming at DGen hours? Yeah, I know it's 5 a.m., but today's stream was just a lot of fun. I don't know. I was supposed to go to sleep like 5 hours ago though. So I did have work. Oh, texture. I think the worst part about this build is looking at how awful this looks with texture streaming. Every time you enter a map, you just see this just straight in your face. The build is very soft core, by the way. The build is not tanky whatsoever. You can expect deaths in this character. You can also expect a lot of dams. That's typically what these kind of characters are for. But yeah, I was playing the Earthshadow Berserker. It did fine in low tiers. It was actually really fun in low tiers. It did fine in mid-tier maps like yellows, and I got to like reds, and they were okay. The build was alright. And then I got to like high reds, and I started farming like Shaper. And I noticed that I was struggling on damage, so I switched over to Impale, and that didn't really help. Switched over like a bunch of links and a bunch of my tree, and that didn't help either. So finally I was just like, why don't I just change the build entirely? So I did. And I farmed some bosses for a few hours. There's a lot of really good margins on bosses actually. I do recommend, I'll show you guys a website actually at the very end. It's Grimro's website. You can basically Google PoE Profit and it'll show you what bosses, what content is worth doing. Not 100% accurate, so obviously, you know, try to do your own calculations if you can, whenever you can. But for the most part, it's a pretty sick website, especially for softcore trade league. Right, we're just going for the big dams. The build doesn't really feel as smooth as it might look. I mean, you're like literally running around spamming war cries. I'm very used to my Earthshadow rotation, and so I kind of duplicate that here. Another little note, you will want to turn auto-equip off because of the fact that if you accidentally equip a pair of gloves or something, you will automatically put them on. Someone in the comments will tell me that I can use chains of command. I've been trading for the last like 3 hours, so the build is like pretty fresh. Only played it for about 3 maps now. Feels pretty good though. Because the build's pretty fresh, I don't want to trade for enlightenment powers, I don't want to trade for no more gloves, I don't want to mess around with my passive tree anymore. Due to the fact that we just completely respect the character. I am very glad that the character actually feels pretty good though. I wouldn't use the word smooth to describe it, but it is functional. The biggest thing about it is the lead by example and the lone wolf cluster jewel that you can see in the bottom left that I have. It gives me a lot of rage, and it also gives me onslaught whenever I use a war cry. Or not rage, I believe it's power, but the power directly translates over. Thanks Marks, the 8-month sub. And off that we can use stuff like Berserk to really juice up the damage. So here we can showcase a little bit of dams. Okay, I'm gonna pop everything. I think Berserk takes over on that one. As long as you're rotating your war cries alright, it'll be okay. I don't really see any tankiness on this map, but definitely was a lot tankier than the last one. Anyways, that's pretty much the build. Pretty good single target, Gale's higher. Seems good. I actually do want to show you a couple tricks of the day. There's this website right here called Kiwi Profit, kiwiprofit.com. You can see that if you look at like Breach, for example, what it's worth running a toll Breach stone, so it'll cost 15C. You're expecting to make 22C. Well, where's that from? Oh, the amulet has a 3% chance of dropping at 409C. So if you wanted to try running for a few of these, you know, maybe you run like 10 and you drop one of these, make a lot of money. Same with this, you can see that Shaper. I've been doing this pretty much for the last few hours on stream. Costs 45C to run. It'll always drop one of these two Uber Elder fragments, so you'll pretty much always get at least 75 chaos back. So that's obviously a lot of profit there. Jardians, same deal here. There's lots of other stuff you can just see. Really cool website. Second thing I want to show, I'm actually kind of burning through these little tips I can give you. So there might not be tips in future videos. I just thought this was cool. But no, for like flasks, like let's say like a Ziri's Promise is a very common flask. These have rolls on them, so you see that it'll have anywhere from 15 to 20% of physical damage as extra chaos, and 10 to 15% on elemental damage. Well, if you sort by this, you might end up with like a result you don't necessarily want. So like, you know, let's say this was really expensive. Well, what you can do actually is click this little search, and it'll filter by item stats. And now if you wanted like a near perfect flask, you could put in like that. And there you go. Instead of having to do like this. Yeah, that's it. That's it for the video. Don't think I'm missing anything here. Bye everyone. Bye, bye. Oh yeah, wait, before I go. I'm streaming over live at twitch.tv/ShadowKiller. I've never done like a shout out like, yo, good check out my stream, but yeah, that's it.